I'm gonna show you something beautiful. Everyone screaming for mercy. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. You're all puppets, tangled in strings.
We motherfucking on?
Yeah.
We on! It is motherfucking What the Fuck Wednesday. Once again, it's your boy Marco from Upside Down Studios, and we are joined here with motherfucking Corey Cobain.
Yeah, I'm here.
And fucking Greg's loud ass.
What up, hoes?
What up? Shouts out to all our new listeners, all our new followers, all that shit there. We love you. Shout out to Don Cody and DK. What's it called? DK what? Didn't he have his own thing? It's DK.
Got slaps?
No, that's just Don Cody. Who's standing
All right, well, yeah. Y'all check out Don Cody's shit, Paul Goon's shit. Just look through our Facebook page. You'll see all our affiliates and stuff like that there. Check them out. Give them a like. Tell them we said what's up. So now we did that quick little shout out thing. Y'all got any news or anything? Somebody?
Nope.
No,
Not at all.
No news.
Nothing.
Nothing going on.
Well, Corey and I and Ricky and Greg did the fucking metal show the other night. It was nowhere near as good as I'm sure Kenya's usually is, but we rocked that shit.
We made it happen.
Fucking A.
We do what we gotta do.
We do it.
Yeah.
Alright, so I'm trying to figure out where we want to start this biatch at. Pick a topic, Corey.
The beginning.
Just pick a topic.
Oh, man, I'm afraid to even say anything.
Don't matter, just turn into political or racist anyway.
We're going to talk about the corona shit. That's going to be first.
The coronavirus?
Yeah.
Alright. You want to hear the political part of it or the weird part of it?
Both.
Alright, well, the weird part of it is I happened to come across, not even sure whose YouTube page it was. Just one of them rabbit hole type deals. And, them kind of odd coincidences where with the numbers and numerology and shit where things kind of come up. Like they had a JFK one. They had like some other bullshit. You know, the numbers come up as meaning some shit.
Yeah.
Well, this guy took Kobe, the word Kobe, and he put it in a Hebrew translator. Now, Hebrew is one of the first languages. It's supposed to be the language of, you know, the Bible or whatever the fuck. But anyways, so he put it in, and he got the whatever symbols that meant Kobe. So then he switched it over, and he put the symbols in to take, you know, to turn the symbols back into American or English. And when you switch them symbols over, it doesn't say Kobe. It says whatever the fuck. The corona, what they're calling the coronavirus.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it's kind of a stretch, but it is a very weird coincidence. I don't know why it would flip over like that, but hey, I mean, if you look at the Monster fucking can, them 3 lines aren't a scratch or anything like that. Them 3 lines are actually called a vav.
Yeah.
And if you take that and you translate it over, it actually is 666.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, that's old school. That's like when they were talking about the dicks on the Little Mermaid thing. I know you heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I think that was kind of weird. Now, as far as the Asians go with the coronavirus, I already told you.
I heard they
everybody
did
out
that
there-
shit in a lab, and it got out. That's
Well,
what I've
see,
seen earlier.
I'm thinking this is more population control, and because they were having all them riots and shit down that way. So how do you take care of all that shit without the world being pissed off, like, you know, when they did the whole Tiananmen Square and they were just running over kids? What do? You fucking put some kind of catastrophe out there. Pandemic. I mean, it's really weird that, you know, we're on the brink of a vaccination already for this thing, and it's been, what, not even a week or two? Mm-hmm. You know, it's already been talked about in the CDC and shit like that. We're pretty close to a vaccination for this bullshit. But, you know, as advanced as the Asians are supposedly, they could have came up with that shit themselves. And I'm thinking that, like I said, it's a way of controlling the populace, because now the UK is doing it, and Brazil is doing it, and a couple other places are doing it. Now, where it falls into us is everybody's having a fit that Donald Trump is kind of downplaying this. That, you know, it's not a big deal here or whatever. And I believe he's right. But better safe than sorry. You make the vaccinations. You make sure the people are quarantined. You make sure shit is done right. You don't go nowhere near as far as the Asians have been doing. They've been patrolling the streets, you know, like, with their military and shit, martial law. You know, you're caught out in the street, you're fucked. Now, there's people who are reporting from China and shit like that, from like the heart of where everything's going on, and they're saying it's bullshit. There's not people dead in the streets. There's not fucking sick people everywhere. There's not none of that there. You know, it's pretty much, aside from the martial law, business as usual. So I'm thinking that
Well, here's my question: why do they have martial law?
exactly. They're saying it's to it's a self-quarantine type thing. But if it's a self-quarantine type thing, then why the fuck is the military forcing you into your house? Now, what's very odd is, in Italy, the shit hit pretty hard. Now, there, I don't think it's the coronavirus. I think something is there, and they're kind of playing it as the coronavirus. But there's something bad going on in Italy. Like, over there, people are fucking dropping. They are like evacuating fucking cities, and that shows you the difference. You know, Italy is evacuating cities. China ain't doing that shit. They're just controlling the people, you know, keeping them in their fucking homes. So, I mean, you compare that to Italy, and, you know, I believe, honestly, it's two different types of disease. I don't think the coronavirus is anything really to be worried about, especially when we got that shit written on our own Lysol cans.
Yeah, but I don't believe that shit either because...
Oh, it's there. I've seen it.
No, I know it's there, but I can guarantee you that can ain't from last year.
Yeah, dude, these cans are... Like, I got old cans. Because I totally thought the same thing. Like, oh, that has to be printed recently or within the last 6 months or whatever, but not...
Even if so, it doesn't mean nothing. It just means that, you know, it just happened to surface. It means it was here at one point in time.
Well, no, see... What people are not realizing, and I had to look it up too, and I think I mentioned this on one of the other shows. The corona part of the word, like the labeling, is not actually the big major part of it. The number after it is. It's that number that makes it a particular type. The corona part of it is a generic name for types of viruses that when you look at them under a microscope, they look like they have a crown. So, you know, it could be a particular type of disease. We'll just say like, say it's syphilis, and it has a crown on it. Well, this other herpes is, you know, over here, and it has a crown on it too. So they're both a type of coronavirus. You know, one would be coronavirus 1, one would be coronavirus 2. So, in essence, they're both viruses. They're kind of in the same, I guess, genre, if you want to say it, because of the crown thing. But that's pretty much the only thing that's the same. What I don't get, though, viruses are very hard to kill. You could almost not kill any. You know, the AIDS is a virus. Herpes is a virus. There's a few other autoimmune diseases that are viruses. Now, if we got something that kills one virus, it should kill all the viruses. You know, because a virus is a virus. You know, it's not like bacteria where they evolve or whatever. And I could be wrong. I mean, I would think a virus would evolve, but, you know, we don't ever hear anything about that. You hear it about fungal infections, you hear about bacterial infections, shit like that, but not too much about a viral. Those are pretty much all standard, you know, way of fucking getting taken care of. So we've had people, you know, that one girl, was it in Russia, who claimed that she cured AIDS. Donald Trump says that, you know, AIDS will be eradicated within the next 3 years. So he must know something, or he's letting some shit loose. Because I'm a firm believer that the government has had a cure for AIDS and cancer and a lot of these other diseases kind of locked away. And, you know, Trump don't give a fuck. He's just letting shit out. And now that's a long shot, but I mean, you know, who knows? But I mean, as far as anything else, I'd be worried about whatever the fuck's coming in through Italy. Now, this ties into immigration, though. You know, all this shit ties in together, which is pretty fucked up. Now, we're quarantining these few people here and there, and we're trying to keep a wraps on this whole thing. But yet, we got people who are flooding in through our borders, unvaccinated. Nobody's seen a doctor. Nobody knows what they were fucking carrying in. You know, how the fuck are we stopping anything if we got the back door open? You know, this goes back to when we were talking about the fucking plague was here in America. The fucking plague. And it came where? Through the fucking southern border. You know, so for all you liberals out there who need another fucking reason why, you know, we need that wall, there you go. Now what's really fucked up, and this really pisses me the fuck off, like to no end. I'm gonna say right now, fuck you, Nancy Pelosi, and all the rest of them fucking cocksuckers that are in California. Fuck you guys. Not only for the homeless vets that are out there, but for this. Do you know that there are a few people who were on that cruise ship or whatever? They lived in California. They're allowed to go home, but they want them to be quarantined in their houses or whatever. And they wanted to set up a few, like the quarantine hospitals, I guess you want to call it, around California, because you know it's a port there. Just the ocean's on the, you know, right there. They said no. They won't let the fucking people back into California. They won't let them back into their own homes, and they do not want a quarantine facility there. What the fuck? You pieces of shit will fucking put up sanctuary cities for all these illegals coming in. These fucking, I mean, and I'm not saying they're all like this, but a good portion of them are criminals, carrying diseases, all that shit. And even if they weren't, even if they were just regular folks coming across illegally, they are still setting up sanctuary cities for them. They're still letting them in and giving them shit that they won't even give our own citizens. They are letting them go get free health care. You know, we can't get a fucking quarantine for Americans, but you're giving free health care to illegals? Fuck you guys. Fuck all you guys. That chops my ass something fucking terrible. That is worse. That is worse than stepping over the fucking homeless vet to get into the health care, you know, with the illegal thing. You know, a veteran can't get a fucking hot meal and maybe some cold medicine, but, you know, you're gonna let these illegals just fucking walk right in and get whatever the fuck they want? It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. I can't even understand the logic in that. I can't even understand how, like, how does that work? How does that fucking work? I mean, you got any thoughts on that, Corey? I mean,
well, in my opinion, I don't know about Tories, but I mean, I can kind of understand because they already know what they're walking into. They're inviting disease. When it comes to illegals, they don't know for sure if they're bringing disease, and you know what I mean? That's my only argument about the whole situation. Outside of that, in my eyes, I wouldn't want it in my city either. My state or whatever the case may be.
Well, no.
Well, they're putting up a quarantine, though. That's what the quarantine hospitals. I mean, if you don't have them quarantine hospitals and you got these states where they're like, fuck it, just let them go. Now you got people just roaming around with no, you know, checking to see if they're good or not, and spreading the shit around.
Yeah.
And you would think, like I said, in California of all fucking places, you know, all the shit that's got to be running through that motherfucker, literally and figuratively. A quarantine wouldn't be a fucking good idea? Really?
Yep.
No, but you know, little Pepe could walk across that fucking border with the plague, and everything's all good, right? You know, go down to the hospital, get checked out. Well, you know, people who fucking pay taxes and have homes there, they ain't even allowed to come home. That's some bullshit. That is some fucking bullshit.
Oh, Marco got ahead of us, though. Corey.
You gotta be bullshit, man. Here's, I guess if we're talking about the immigration thing, one thing I do not, I mean, I'm totally against illegals. You know, Call it what you will, whatever reason you think, I think, whatever the fuck. I know why I don't like illegals. Personally, I feel that all these people who are here legally, who've done what they had to do to get their legal shit, who took the years to do all the classes and whatever, they should not be put to the back of the line just because, somebody with a fucking kid that ain't even his came across the border and claimed asylum or whatever. No, that don't jive with me. You come here legally, you do what you gotta do. More than welcome. More than fucking welcome. But if not, then fuck you guys. Here's the problem. Here's a big problem that nobody, it kind of got downplayed. I'm surprised that there hasn't been more of this, especially bitching from the Democrats. Today, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of Donald Trump's no charge or charge rule or whatever. Now, this was a law that was implemented back in the 1800s. It was reinstituted back in 96. I believe that was the Clinton era. But nobody really enforced it. Well, Donald Trump is enforcing it. And what the bill basically is if an illegal has received any type of welfare or any type of help or whatever, they will not be allowed to be a citizen. Not only that, but anyone who is found to come to America and want to be a citizen, but they find them not able to work or not able to sustain themselves or whatever like that, they won't be allowed in. You can't fucking do that. That's just like saying that if you were born in America but your parents were illegal, then you're illegal. No, the rules don't work like that. That's a fucking loophole. We all know it, but that's the way it is. If the fucking kid is born here in America, your parents are fucking whatever the fuck they are, well, guess what? That kid's American. That's just the way it is. You cannot, a lot of these fucking illegals, a lot of these, I won't even say illegals, a lot of these people who are seeking asylum or seeking sanctuary or just seeking a better life and that are doing it the right way, you cannot fucking tell them that they don't have the right to enjoy the same rights that we have. This is bullshit. And this is, one of Trump's policies that I am totally fucking against. You just can't do that. If these people from Mexico or Guatemala or Venezuela or whatever the fuck could sustain themselves, would they actually be leaving their fucking homes? I mean, I'm sure some of them would be because of corruption, but I mean, come the fuck on. We can't do that. That's doing too much. You're going way too far. What happens if you got a guy in his family and he does everything legally, but just so happens a week before his paperwork goes through, he loses his job? Now, technically, according to this bill, nope, you don't get your fucking green cards. You don't get any of your shit. But if you just bring your ass across the fucking line, illegally, take your ass to California and you're on love, or New York.
Cheers.
Well, I mean, when I was growing up, everything I knew about New York, it was blacks and Latinos.
Bro. For real.
So,
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. Me, I didn't see New York as black and Latinos. I seen it more of Italians.
Yeah.
And
Puerto Rican, for sure.
yeah, that
Puerto Ricans are Latinos.
Yeah, anything.
Not,
yeah, same thing.
No, he said Puerto Ricans, not me. I've seen more Italians come out of New York than anything.
See, the only Italians I've ever seen were like movie Italians. Just growing up, and I have to admit it's only because I grew up in that culture or whatever. The people I knew from New York were, black or Puerto Rican or Hispanic or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about the Bronx. They talked about, their streets or whatever. And then, they had, the black areas or whatever. Everything is still, if you look at these states that are so-called liberal and so-called anti-race, whatever the fuck, everything is segregated. If you go to California, there's little China, there's little this, there's
Yeah.
little that. If you go to New York, there's little Italy, there's little. So, isn't that segregation? Isn't that, you know?
No, because it's not the government putting them people there. It's all of them congregating.
Segregation isn't necessarily the government doing it.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I mean, it's just like. I'm trying to think of a good example. Like even in the colleges, or even in schools, you know, we've all seen it. In a perfect world, it wouldn't be like that, but we all seen it. Or even in prisons, you know, you look at the prisons. You know, the warden doesn't say, all you white folks go here, all you black folks go here, all you Mexicans go here. They separate on their own, for whatever reason it is. Now, if you take that mentality and you put it in the world, which, you know, people don't like to think that it's like that, same thing. People self-segregate. But when you bring it up, it's racism. I don't understand that. You know, I'm not for or against it. I just don't understand it.
I don't know. To me, I'm just tired of all that shit, the racism, and because, for example, I showed Corey, I think yesterday, a friend of mine on Facebook posted a meme,
Corey.
a meme of you know, like a big game hunter's wall, you know, with all the trophy heads and all that, and all it says is, you know, white people above it, and then underneath of it says like, what Mike Vick did to them dogs is horrendous or whatever.
Yeah, talking about, you know.
Yeah, so I got to thinking about it. I'm like, well, let me look up how many black people actually hunt. You know, because I know quite a few myself. You know what I mean? That actually go out in the woods and hunt deer and shit like that.
The only hunting that I knew black folks did when I was growing up was more black folks.
Well, see, that's racism.
That's in a different
No,
neighborhood,
that's
but it
what I
ain't.
saw growing up.
Racism when you see it.
That
Yeah.
isn't
ain't.
racism. That was reality where I grew up.
Yeah.
I never saw any black folks hunting. You know, when I saw somebody with a rifle, it was because they were going to go shoot up a house or do a drive-by. It wasn't that they were going to take out a deer.
But no, but like I said, as of right now, I know quite a few black guys and a couple of black girls that go out in the woods and go fucking
Well,
hunt.
I know now that I'm older, a couple of black people that hunt.
Yeah,
But I mean, but just like you just said,
Growing up.
that's what people think. When I say something like that, which was not racist, it was just reality. The first thing that came to your mind was that's racist.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Right.
It's what the reality of the thing, you know, of it was. Now, if I'd have saw just as many
racist
white
because
folks
you ain't black saying it.
done
That's right.
rifles and doing the same shit as I did to black folks, and
Yeah.
I'd have just singled out the black folks, and that would have been racist.
Yeah.
But where I came from, you know, when I saw somebody with a rifle, predominantly it was black folks,
Shooting up
and they claim is a racist. He's Brazilian, so how is he? I guess. Being that the Americanized version of minority and their minority's got to be totally different. You know, because you think minority over here and it's all automatically, you know, people of color, whether they be Hispanic or black or whatever, and people accept that shit. But over there, minority is really a minority. You know, the minority there is actually the poor folks. You know, they're all one race. So I could see if you were like socioeconomical racism or prejudices. But no, they're saying this dude is prejudiced against his own people, which I don't understand that either. Because there's nobody else to put above them. So I don't even understand that. And that was 2 days ago.
I don't understand fucking all black colleges when you can't have all white college because you're racist. Name one all white college. Name
Right.
one all white one.
Anything that
Name
is,
all white one.
Anything that is
All
white
Mexican.
something
Is racist.
it's automatically going to be considered
But
racist.
why? But listen, back
But I guess
back
the
when like
point
the
is,
50s
why
and
is it
shit,
like that,
black
though?
people had their own schools and white people did, and that shit was racist, and they wanted them all to be together.
Yeah.
All right, but now, why is you allowed to have all black college, but you can't have all white nothing? But back in the day, that shit was racist when we were trying to give you all your own shit anyway. Well, not me, because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying? But how, like, what is that? Answer me that.
Honestly,
and I
because
dropped the whole shit.
I don't know, maybe because of what you're talking about was a downgrade. these guys with the school isn't a downgrade. They're upgrading themselves.
But how is it
an
an upgrade that's still racist as fuck when you ain't...
I mean, it's still racist, but what I'm saying is it's totally different
No.
from what you're talking about and what they're doing with this college. It's
No,
totally...
what I'm talking about is we said, no, you can't have it, and they threw a fit. Now that they can have it, they can do whatever they want, and they don't care if you like it or not.
All right,
so how am I racist?
I misunderstood. I misunderstood.
No, I'm answering your question. There ain't no downgrade. They just ain't want it. It was like a kid. You want something, you give them something else, they're going to flip the fuck out.
And
Like
going
I said,
back
I
to what
misunderstood.
Greg said, you know...
No, I misunderstood what he was saying.
Well, I'm just... Before that.
Yeah.
Just us having this conversation would be considered
be
to a lot of people a
KKK.
racist conversation.
Yeah.
Whereas...
I'm
that's
far
some
from
bullshit.
racist.
I don't understand how
Yeah.
if you don't want racism and
Why
you want
you
equality,
still making it?
then why do you constantly putting yourself separate?
Because they keep pushing it. Because
You know,
you know
instead
what?
of saying,
they want
you know,
they want this country to be
white
all
people are
them.
against
And
black
then
folks. Why don't you say we folks went against these folks?
Yeah.
You know, who gives a fuck if you're white or black? You know, these people over here are assholes. But now if you put a color to it, then you're racist, and it doesn't matter what the assholes did. Well, what the hell?
Because
What?
I don't know. We live in a double society.
And then even when you do try to make it sound good, and you be like, because they're black, you just sounding racist off rip just saying that alone.
Here's
So how
two
can you really...
personal
Black History
examples.
Month is racist as fuck because really we only give them the 1 month out of what, 12? And
Yeah,
people
but
still
we
talking
ain't
shit.
even-
No, black
but
people still
we
talk
don't.
shit about that to this day.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, we only
See,
get 1 month.
I don't see
Motherfucker,
that's
do
Black
you
history.
see
I
one
that
White
as
History
regular
Month?
fucking
Yeah,
history.
no.
You know,
No.
Black history is regular fucking history. There's
Yeah,
no
it's all
black
history.
to it.
No.
Yeah, there was a black folk.
Y'all
who
make
done
peanut
it,
butter
but-
and air conditioners, okay.
No, there was a lot. You know,
I know,
a lot
but
of
I
black
mean,
folks who did a lot
yeah.
of
But
good
growing up, that's the
things.
two they want to teach us.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Nowadays, yeah, it's
things
gonna be
have
a lot more.
evolved in
Yeah.
a good way on that
Yeah.
aspect. But again, you know, like you said, I feel that like Black History Month, instead of being a good thing, like people try to perpetuate it, it makes more racist.
Nah, them
shit.
motherfuckers still
Why don't
talking
we
shit
just
about
have
it.
a History Month? You know, we learn about whatever the great Mexicans did in America.
Yeah,
the
why
great
ain't we
black
got a
people did in
Mexican
America.
History Month or
You know,
nothing?
The,
We
the
ain't got
great
no
white
fucking
folks
Irish
in
for it.
America.
Yeah,
Because we
yeah.
had just as many pieces of shit white folks and just as many pieces of shit black folks and just, you know,
Yeah.
and why can't we just have history?
Well, because you're talking about a different culture.
That's the problem.
But if we're gonna do that, then we should have Hispanic Month. We should have all
But
that.
the first
Yeah.
time you
We
said
should have
we
everything,
should
not
integrate
just
our
one.
culture,
Yeah.
We
we'll
racist.
get called racist.
Now, I'm not saying this is right, but basically, the blacks have had more history, if you ask me, than the white people do.
Yes, I agree.
So,
You know, that goes back to that conversation I had where they were the kings. They ruled the fucking world. And I cannot find anything in history, nothing in history, for really a reason why black folks don't like white folks. It was the Hispanics that did all this shit. You know,
That did what?
It was the Spanish that did all the slavery shit. You know, the white folks came in like years and years afterward. It was like damn near, you know, the ass end of shit.
no.
Dude,
The African Americans are the ones that started slavery. They owned their own slaves.
Oh well, yeah, I get it.
Before-
I mean, as far as
no,
transporting,
no,
because
slavery.
the blacks fucking sold their own people. You're
Yeah.
right. You know
So,
you're right there.
yeah. But as far as all that goes, it don't matter. And
Don't matter.
yeah, because no matter what you say, how much you argue, you're never going to be right. The
Yeah,
other
you'll
person's
never
never going to
be
be right.
right.
You know what I mean? And the sad part about it is everybody that's standing here today, I would say almost 95% of us standing on this earth today have never had to deal with any of the shit that we're doing, that we're talking about, and why these people are, why we are the way we are.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean? And that's what really pisses me off, because the few that are here, they're, you know, in their hundreds. You know, they ain't really doing too much of anything. And if you go and talk to one of them fucking people, I guarantee you they have more respect than 95% of the people on this earth.
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree. I mean,
Crazy.
Yeah.
I just
It
don't
is.
understand it. I try to, and then to try to get an actual black person, whether they're a younger college student, whether they're a military student, whether they're an older person.
No, because some
to
of
try
them,
to
I
ask
talked to
one
a
of them-
couple of them, and they think it's all bullshit too, and they feel the same
Well-
way I do. Because the shit is past us, so why we keep pushing it now?
But
Yeah.
there's always that,
Like, they
that
feel the same way.
twinge, because the
take
one
it-
dude that I looked up as a father, Mr. Brown, he was a black man, but still there was always that tinge there, that little bit. Even though you told me there was the difference between the black folks and the N words. I said N word.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. There was always that hint in the background that they just can't fucking let go. How many Puerto Ricans do you hear bitching about the fucking dudes who got caught up with there was a big shit back in the 80s. Some reporters in Puerto Rico got murdered or whatever. Nobody's bitching about that anymore. They grabbed the wrong people and all that shit. You hear more about the New York Five than you hear about that. You don't hear shit about as much as we love the Mexicans and we gotta help the Mexicans. We don't hear anything about General Santa Anna. We don't hear anything about the battles that went on for the Mexican wars and all that. None of that. Nobody talks about the slave trade in Mexico. Nobody talks about the slave trade that's still going on in Iran and Iraq. Nobody's talking about and now it isn't slavery as far as we think in our head that it's on TV. It's sex slaves. And then, what we see on TV is still going on, but that's happening in the Asian world where they're having the little kids make your fucking Nikes. Think about that when you're fucking kneeling with Kaepernick.
You creasing up the Nikes them kids built. That's fucked up.
So, I just, again, I can't understand it.
Hey, his shoes sold out first day. How you feel about that?
But Kaepernick shit,
Yeah, first day sold out.
you know what I feel about it?
I know, I want to hear it.
Over the past year, when this shit started, like when you went to the flea market, the only time you ever saw Nikes were knockoffs. I've seen more Nikes at the flea market and Goodwill, like damn near brand new, now than ever before. So yeah, that's what I feel about it. The few loyal people to Nikes are doing it, but
A lot of people buying more than one pair of two. You got to think of that too.
Dude,
You know how many athletes just famous people that be rocking with them that probably went out and bought 10 pair of his shoes just to have them?
no, Nikes
You know what
I
I'm
got
saying?
it for fucking cutting grass now.
Yeah. I feel it. Wearing them in the mud and shit.
That's it. I won't wear my Red Wings in the mud, but I'll throw on some Nikes quick.
Said my Red Wings ain't going off there.
Hell no. So, I don't understand that. People are, again, this goes back to what we were saying before. The next couple of generations, they are voting to give away rights. They're voting to go backward in history. They're voting to take everything that our forefathers, they saw the mistakes. They try to correct them. It took years and years and years to correct the mistakes, and there's still some shit out there, but it's a work in progress, and they're trying to turn that shit back. And they're using not only the guise of racism, they're using the guise of free shit. And we grew up, we wanted less government. We didn't want Big Brother in our hair. We didn't want surveillance.
No.
This generation's growing up, they want 5G. They want cameras everywhere. They want,
They on live
they
everywhere.
want the free healthcare, which is pretty much going to be welfare. And they don't realize that, and they want this $15 an hour minimum wage. Well, you don't get it. Because with that $15 an hour, now you got higher taxes. Not only do you have higher taxes, but you have higher prices on everything. So when it boils down to the end of it and it gets to your welfare health care, that $15 an hour now equals to $3 an hour. I did the math, and Bernie Sanders keeps trying to hide this, but dude, it costs more for his plan than AOC's Green New Deal. And he wants to do that on top of his $43 trillion fucking free health care. Wait a minute. $43 trillion doesn't seem free to me. Now, what he says to pay for this, one of his excuses were he's going to tax the wealthy. Well, do you know who he's taxing? You know who the wealthy are in his eyes? Anybody making over $29,500 a year. When I was working for $5 a fucking hour, I made $24,000 a year. So now you're going to make the minimum wage $15 an hour, which makes everybody in his eyes wealthy. So who's paying for that free health care? Who is getting taxed? You are, under the guise of, oh no, that's only for the wealthy. Well, you made me, in your eyes, wealthy with this bullshit extra few dollars that you're claiming that is the up in the minimum wage. Nobody sees that. Nobody understands that. And all these kids these days are like, free shit, yay. Dude, and then like to hear Bernie Sanders talk about Cuba and the way Cuban things were.
Minimum at $8 an hour, a full-time job, you're making $15,000 a year.
So
that's shitty.
At $15 an hour, what are you making a year?
I don't know. $28,000, almost 29.
So, and that's not including overtime or anything like that.
That's 40. That's a full-time job, 40 hours a week.
Yeah. So, for those out there trying to get a little bit of overtime or trying to get a little, dude, that line is going to get crossed. That is a fine line there that is going to get crossed quick. Nobody's going to be able to get a raise. As soon as you hit that certain mark, and I believe my numbers might be off, but it was, I believe, 29,500. You get to that mark, you're fucked, dude. You're fucked. And here's one more thing about this whole tax bullshit before we go on break. Everybody keeps saying that Donald Trump gave this big tax break to the wealthy. That
half these motherfuckers don't even work, so why do they care anyway? They just want something to say.
Well, here's the thing though.
Really, they don't.
I'm in the tax bracket that should have got that nice tax cut. I'm in that tax bracket that should have got that nice. My portfolio was banged. Banged. Don't give me this bullshit that the wealthy got so much when I'm watching motherfuckers who work for maybe 6 months out of the year pulling $6-7 grand from income tax.
And you ain't getting nowhere near that, huh?
Dude, I don't even get an income tax. This shit just gets folded over back into the portfolio. So I don't want to hear, these people with this, the wealthy fucking got, the tax break. No, the fuck they didn't. And just like AOC's horseshit with the tippy top, once you make that first $1 million, well, my portfolio's worth $1.2 million, $1.3 million. So what's that mean? That means now I'm fucked. Now I'm fucked. I get taxed quadruple with anybody else. Against, I don't even know how they could call somebody.
Jack Rat stack M's on a solo. Real deal, nigga, ain't about a pill, nigga. Unless I lost a case like a raw deal, nigga. I ain't a killer, but I'll change it if I need to. Rather not shoot you, rather salute you. When you below clock, put the game in and choke up. Make more bucks, be able to pull our folks up, focus. Petty differences never spoke up. A young nigga sit back, soak up, and roll up. Real G's talking, had a Pyrex vision. Ain't got a limit to dope, but stay in the kitchen. If you don't put in that grit, then you don't get it. If you ain't loyal to the click, then go on, bitch.
Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Out here getting mine, strictly by my pay. Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Every day on the grind, about to make another play. Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Out here getting mine, strictly by my pay. Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Every day on the grind, about to make another play.
Military state of mind, explosive like a landmine. Revolutionary tactics when it come to me and mine. Hell yeah, I'm on my grind. Green guys, I gotta get on my certified crook. And I'm always on some shit. It's poetic when I spit. I hang with a fan click. I'm from Minnesota, yeah, I'm on that up north shit. My whole squad go hard, connected with block stars. Transaction deals while whipping in phone cars. I'm a super active nigga from the turf. All this paper boy, acrobat and sex, that's me. I'm a critter boy, always been a street boy, never been a decoy. Play games like Miami, I'ma show you heat boy. Youngtown, Ohio, known for getting money on. I'm from Money Soda World, little niggas they pick songs. Lefty Capone, I'm well known for doing my thing. I witnessed the life that'll make the average nigga eye strain.
Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Out here getting mine, strictly by my pay. Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Every day on the grind, about to make another play. Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Out here getting mine, strictly by my pay. Hustle till I shine, get out of my way. Every day on the grind, about to make another play.
Official mob business.